Hello, nice to meet you. Let's go to the speaking test. There are three parts in the speaking test. Uh, in part one, I will ask you some questions about a topic, and in part one, let's talk about your city.
Okay.
Uh, what city do you live in?
I live in Hanoi, which is the capital of Vietnam and like the place where most Vietnamese lives in. And I think it's a really great place as it isn't as quite technologically advanced like in Ho Chi Minh, but it's safer, like no dangerous weather condition in here, and we will definitely be safe from like floods and things like that.
Do you think that your city is an interesting place?
Well, of course, I think it's an interesting place, and it's interesting in like many area of, and there's like it's interesting in its culture, and it's many different culture from many ethnic combined together, and there's interesting it's interesting in food, like it's really nice food that comes from every part of the country in Hanoi itself. Then there is like Hanoi people, which like it's also the combination and it's really a mix, like all Vietnam in a small place.
Do you think you will move to another country in the future?
I think that I would if I can, because it's like I think it's everyone's dream to like explore and go to many places to know different things, because if you just keep being at one place, you will kind of like you don't have any kind of freedom, because you don't know what's ahead of you, what's outside of Vietnam, what's outside of Hanoi.
Let's move on to talk about where you live. Do you live in a house or an apartment?
I live in an apartment, and like in my personal opinion, I would prefer an apartment, because my family was never too big, and living in a house maybe like it feels a bit lonely when you're like you stay home alone, because it's way too big and you feel too much like not the kind of warmness that your family gives you. And also I'm really lazy and I don't want to clean the whole house.
Are there any good places to go shopping near your house?
I think that now that the city has improved in like the quality of the streets and so on, shops of anything just grows up in at everywhere. We have So I think it's definitely a yes, and we do have good shop. We do have a supermarket of famous brand like Vinmart and other kind.
Let's move to part 2. I'm going to give you a topic, and you will have 1 minute to think about what you want to say, and you can write some notes. After that, you will speak for 1 to 2 minutes. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay, I want you to describe a story that was particularly interesting to you. 1 minute for you. You will have 2 minutes for this. I will tell you when your time is finished. You may begin speaking now.
Okay, so there was a story that was particularly interesting to me, and the story was about a boy who like rode a bicycle all the way from a far mountainous area down to like visit his brother in the hospital. So uh, I read it. Well, I didn't exactly read it. I saw it on the news. I was really shocked. I felt like the boy has a real courageous and love for his family to be able to do that, and I really admire that. And every day I think I try to be a better son, a better family member, too. Like try to care more for my sister, my parents, as they work hard to like give uh, love to me, and I think I should pay them back with something that I can do, not like money, but like uh, respect and hard work, like they did for me.
Finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Can I have the topic back, please? Now move to part 3. We have been talking about a story that you found interesting, and I would like to ask you a few more general questions about this topic. Let's consider what kinds of stories do children like to hear?
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear.
What kinds of stories do the children like to hear?
Oh, what kind of story do the children likes to hear? Well, I think nowadays children doesn't like into fables story or things like that because it's kind of old fashioned and they're into new things. So nowadays we have fiction novels like Harry Potter or Percy Jackson and that kind. So I think that's the kind of story that children wants to hear, the story they can relate to being a children in the new world, in the modern time, and the story that they feel they can like it's not a blur story and too hard to understand with any deep meanings behind. They can just understand the surface and that's all it got. The story plot, that's what make them interesting and the children likes it.
Are there any differences between the stories that the boys and the girls like?
Well, I think that at first, like when we are small, from 8 to 10, the children that the story that the boys like and the girls like, doesn't have don't have much difference, because like we don't have like a full developed brain to know which story is like for our time. But then when we grow older, like at our age, 12, 15, 18 or more, I think that girls will find their love for romantic story and boys just keep their mood into any kind of like fictional story they can read.
Why do so many people throughout history enjoy reading novels?
Well, the main reason that I think why so many people throughout history enjoy reading novel, because it's not their life, it's interesting, it's something that was written on a book. It means it has something behind it, not like a normal person or normal life. It's something sometimes they can relate to, and something sometimes they just read to go to different places and know different thing.
Are the novels that people read in Vietnam different than what people read in other countries?
Well, so this is a really tough question, because when a book is really famous, it goes around the globe, and Vietnam is not an exception, and people would read that too. But then there's the book that Vietnamese writers write, but each country has their own like people, and people write story, and I think that doesn't make Vietnam any different from other countries, because we're the same. We read what they read, and they read what they have in their country, and so do we. We have all the topics, and so do they. So I think what we read in Vietnam is not different from what they read in other countries.
That's the end of the speaking test. Thank you.
Thank you.